went up to the dumpster the other day.
We're live.
Okay. Because of that.
Whatever.
You know, my son came by, that's what he said, he came by the dumpster, he said, oh my gosh, he said, it's like 10 feet in the air.
Yes.
Yeah. I had seen it earlier, it was stacked full of stuff. Yeah, he came by, it was going. Tires. It wasn't like a free dump.
Most of you get now
The
spray coming out.
one up here, they set it on fire. Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah. Yeah. The son, he said, it was outstanding. Well, all I did really was like move for some more, because the next day it's full up again. So, it's recycling that space.
Mhm.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. It looks like 5 minutes after 7. Joe, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Thank you, Lord, for watching over us through this day, and Lord, watch over us throughout this entire incident we've all been through, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to have the grace to come here today, Lord. Let you watch over this meeting and bless us in Christ's name.
Amen. I want to welcome everybody to the live feed of the board meeting, and we will start now with the reading of the previous month's meeting.
The fire chief's report was given. Meeting was called to order by Board President Stephen Johnson at 20:55. All members were present. The motion to accept to discuss buying turnout gear for all 15 firefighters was granted by Stephen Johnson and second by Mike Fisher. The treasurer's report was given at $123,000. That was in the checking account. Chief's report was presented by David Salter. He stated that 1303 needed 3 out of 4 of the rear tires, with 1 being already replaced. Gave 30-second readings on the tires as 430 seconds, which was the minimum for DOT regulation. 1312 has a leaking tank and needs to be sent for either repairs or replacement. 1320 had a voltage draw and needs a battery disconnect switch, so battery will not draw down when not in use. Ladder truck was still out of service due to brakes and hydraulic leak. All turnout gear is out of date, and gave a quote from Sunbelt Fire for 6 sets at $18,785 and 15 sets at $46,290. It was discussed to see if we used $18,785 as down payment and finance the other portion of the $46,290. Sharps container, we are being charged at $764.52 for a biohazard disposal. Tyler Doyle was asked to find a cheaper place to dispose of our biohazards. Committee reports, the building report for Station 1 had a leaking roof. Station 2 has a gas draw on the heaters when in use. Our gas bill was $226.56, and that was presented by Tracy Pearson. Fundraiser was discussed for the Easter hunt at Trade Day weekend at Station 2. Bounce houses and children for the children and vendors, for both food vendors and other vendors and booths. $10 armband entrance fee, $20 charge for vendor space for a 10 by 10 space. Mayor had gave permission to use the parking lot for this activity per Brandon Jones. Mike Fisher motioned to approve the $446.58 for the second, and was seconded by Brandon Jones. Vehicle 1303 needed 3 tires on the rear. 1320 disconnect switch. 1312 had a leaking water tank and the ladder truck was the hydraulic leak and bad brakes. And it was tabled at this time. New business, Gary Johnson, motion for Tyler Doyle to get 3 quotes for tires for 1303. Mike Fisher asked to find someone who will come out here and change them. Second by Brandon Jones. Motion was passed. Stephen Johnson, motion to buy a laptop for business office temporary till files are returned with a $300 cap. That was second by Mike Fisher. That motion was passed. Tyler Doyle was placed as assistant chief, and the business office position is being left vacant at this time. Brandon Jones, motion to build all business in the district starting to the next day. Second by Cliff Colburn. The meeting was adjourned by Stephen Johnson at 2200 hours.
Any corrections, any omissions, motions?
Make a motion to see if it's ready. Second.
All right. Now for the chief's report. Yeah, come in front of the camera.
In March, we had 74 emergency runs, 67 in Lake, 7 in Abilene. No right now, all of the place on hold due to coronavirus. 1320 has been running fine. We haven't had any more issues with it as far as losing power or not cranking. 1311, we paid along with $5,281.76 for repairs at the beginning of March. And we had on 1303, 3 tires replaced, driver rear, and the inner rear tire on officer side. Nothing under equipment for March. We had the fuel main set up. These cars being used to the receiving, we're actually down today. They're put on the trucks and are working. And stair side plan has been canceled. We will get one more notice from them for what we owe from the past. We have the earned termination fee added to. And we've already got permission from West Med Disposal over at Highway 5. And I've already got all the proper paperwork from them, from ADM, to dispose over there. And they're not going to charge us anything. It'll be free disposal. And we've got $763.60 from fire recovery this month, or in March.
As far as turnout gear going right now, we have everybody's size. We only ordered the 6 that have been previously voted on to have ordered, and they are supposedly in production. Okay. On on 1320, you say it's been running good now. Is there anything that they need to check as far as giving you problems in the wintertime, like something like the blow, something called the blow heater or something there? Because it's kind of strange that all of a sudden it started working.
Yeah, it seemed like it was losing power or something, and it wasn't running. Like even when it wasn't running, it was just running the batteries. It wouldn't even turn over at all. It was like a dash. But with yours, every time I made it crank, it would be jumping it off, starting to over them. Yeah, it's been running on.
It's been cranked every day since then. That's probably the big one.
Now, when I came over here,
And I've been really good at it. I get it.
I came over here about a week ago, the batteries were corroded over. that needs to be cleaned because that will cause a draws as well. I did clean them, which I was told that it's been cranking and running fine. But I went ahead and cleaned the batteries off, so just keep me posted on that.
I mean, I can overrun it there, but when I run, I'll take it behind the engine, just let it run it, draw it, so it's still taking anything, fake out of all years, but I'm just running it extra, to keep it running.
As far as the turnout gear, not being fully, able to get it financed with the manufacturer, the board might want to interject what we might could do for the rest of the turnout gear. Are there any suggestions?
Cliff worked for a company in Tuscaloosa, Cliff Culver on the board, and we submitted a letter to that company requesting funding support. And as of the day before yesterday, he said it's looking real good for funding. We don't know if we'll get the total amount of $50,000 or not, but every little bit will help. So that's kind of in play right now.
Tax right off the bill.
Pretty much, yeah. Even in this COVID situation, they're still willing to help the community. So, that might still be an option. I just want to throw that out there.
Have we told them that we purchased the six and gave them the remaining balance?
I don't know, we haven't paid anything yet, have we?
Nothing?
No, that shouldn't.
Okay.
That
So we're gonna
shouldn't.
try to hold.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be great. All right, any more questions to the chief? Any motion?
Make a motion that, future report is accepted as read.
I second.
All right, do we have any committee reports, fundraisers, building committees?
I guess one thing is, I don't know if the public knows yet or not, but, Chief Salter officially turned in his 2-week notice, back at the 1st of March. And what was the final date on that? The 9th of April. So he's no longer in the position of chief at this time. I know Tyler is our assistant chief before he left. And I make a motion to make him interim chief for the time being until we decide further steps from here forward, what we want to do.
I second.
Time limit,
Well, we got to get a committee together, so maybe
60 days.
3 at the most, 3 months, I think.
If you haven't found anybody in 90 days, what's the agenda after that?
I think we go have another meeting with the entire board and go from there and see what we want to do.
All right. Got a motion and a second?
Before we do that, what are the qualifications gonna be?
That's what the community's got to get together and figure out. So I guess now we got to decide who wants to be on the fire chief committee.
Got a first and a second right now.
Okay.
Second, county, call for vote.
For the interim.
Yeah, Brandon, all right. Okay, now, committee discussion.
Well, we got 2 that aren't here, so I guess they can get chosen as part of the committee. Yeah.
As far as president, can I be on the committee?
I don't see why you
I
can't.
don't know.
I don't mind being on the committee. Who else?
I mean, if you want,
Need 3, I would think.
Somebody with some experience on there. I mean, I don't mind if nobody else wants to step up. So
I'll be on.
we'll do 3 again. That's almost half the boards. We don't need 4, we'd have a 4.
That's it, or you'd have a tie or whatever. Yeah. Okay,
So you're gonna be on that team?
Yeah, you and Mr. Steve and Phil.
do we have any of the building things that need to be brought up?
The lights, the one light that
Running units?
we've been trying to get fixed for a good year now.
Yeah.
We do have a dust light over there that is on a sensor that apparently is wired backward or something because it stays on 24/7.
Our property was.
It's on our building.
It's on the building.
The ones that we replaced, and I don't know if it was
Yeah, we
wired
wired it
backward.
up, somebody, one of David or somebody wired it
I think it's Toby, but anyway,
up.
Dave was assistant. We also need, we still don't have, power to hook up that light over there, the courthouse, so we can try that on it. When we do the light burns and things. The discussion was in the past that we just buy 2 more of those LED lights like we've got on the front of the building, put on the side of the building. And possibly that would be enough to light up over there. 'Cause if I'm not mistaken, it was cheaper to do that versus paying out power to come out here and look that light up and us paying it extra every month for that light, because I think it's like $32
That's high anyway.
extra a month. I have one of mine as a dusted down, it's just plain like this one right here. I pay $17 a month for it. That's $17 we just save, just pay a couple $100 and put it on there and be done with it.
Alright. The office needs, some assistance. We need some recommendations from the board, for help. Tracy is getting overwhelmed. She's had, Anna, supposedly helping her, but we need Anna to come on full time to help her, with what we're suggesting, but if the board's got some recommendations. Anna is, Tyler's wife.
What's the current hours right now that, whatever, that you're working with?
They had set it up to be 16 hours a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But that was with Catherine and I, we both each got 16 hours.
32.
Per
Um,
week.
per week, yes.
But we're so far behind the 8 ball, we need more time in the office. And they've got a lot that they gotta catch up on.
I mean, it's to the point, with what I got to do, trying to get called up, my assessment letter for around like midnight.
Will the other 16 hours be sufficient, you think?
To be honest, right now, probably not, because we still don't have, we got, some liens that I have received money on to release that we haven't released yet. I've got to get those letters typed up, I've got tons of, things in there that need to go into the system that we need to get done.
So are we looking at needing 20 or 25 or 30 hours more a week, you think?
Possibly,
Possibly.
It's only-
8 to 5 or 8 to something?
yeah, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday would be good,
With Anna having 3 and you having 2 or something on that line?
yeah.
Just walk days or something.
And then the other times we'll have to be here at the same time, but it won't be very much.
So we basically need a motion of going to 40 hours a week, splitting those days at the same rate of pay we're paying out right now, basically.
So, that's 45 hours a week, is what they're at.
Just, should be 40.
40, just straightforward.
There'd be-
40 for both of you,
No,
40 just for you.
She works 3 days a week.
3 day, 2 day.
Yeah, and I work 2
And maybe a couple hours.
here and there, yeah.
So it could be the 45, like Gary said. Right. Yeah. See what you're saying.
I mean, I can work it where neither one of us, where between the 2 of us with our hours, we don't go over 40.
That's fine.
That way we're not.
Y'all good with that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm good with it. Another thing is, it's gonna take time
Oh, yeah.
to get, I did get the bills out, the majority of them. I do have a few that are questionable.
You say Bill.
Yeah, she said bill, but
The business.
Yes, we got it. Invoices.
That I gotta get the guys to get square footage on the first of the week,
Yeah.
or try to get it this week, if we can, but it's hard to get to some places, we know them being closed, and we can't get the 13th in, get in, that kind of stuff.
We, going on with that, Brandon, you and I talked about our loans.
Yeah.
What we want to do with those.
let's stay on about bringing that on.
Yeah, that needs to be in the,
Okay.
in another topic. So, I'll make the motion to go to that 40-hour split, come up with a hour plan for whoever works what, and at the same rate of pay we're paying now.
Motion. Second. Favors. So carried. All right. Now, do you want to elaborate where you're going?
With our billing, we have, our hazmat that we charge some of our businesses. Depending on what they have as far as, like, whether they have selling tanks or anything like that in there. We come across our salons, which have hair color, rubber, bleach, things like that, chemicals. And Brandon and I had discussed it, and we were thinking that our current rate is a little high for some of our salons, all of them really, because they're so small. And we were talking about cutting it in half. Brandon, I don't know if you want to.
I really think that needs to be part of the committee that redoes our ballot for June. Well, we need to get a ballot done and made up like our old ballot we had, so it could be voted on. We got a lot of work to do to that ballot. Our old ballot is, I got a copy of it here somewhere.
With the salon owners, are they raising Cain about it or something?
No, they haven't seen the deal that
Is it excessive?
Hazmat is $300 per business.
when you need it, you can't ever find it.
So even on the small salons that we got, we're still charging $300.
I don't necessarily think they could, it's right there. That's our old ballot from 2004 that had to be voted on, and that was actually on the ballot, was the hazmat fee. probably may need to go up on our hazmat fee. That's what our committee needs to go review for some of our bigger businesses too, so. And we're gonna have to redraw it with we also talked about the revised schedule for some of the businesses, you know. In early 2018, I submitted to the board a version of redoing the businesses at a different scale, and that got tabled and never brought back up. And it was gonna draw us about another $50,000. So we might need to just look at that all together and get our ballot ready. Because if we don't have our ballot ready for the vote in November, we'll have to wait again until whenever there's another election or we have our own.
So you want to put that as something to discuss by the next ballot time?
I don't know about this more because it's.
We need to have that committee together and go. So I guess we need to have a committee to work on this ballot so we can have it ready.
All right, you got any volunteers for that committee? I got one down here saying you can do it. All right, George. Anybody else? George will do it by himself.
Sure. Before we go to all in there, too, you probably did for it.
That's something that we need to.
We're talking about like revamping this whole thing.
Kind of maybe
Close to it, but you know, they voted last board meeting to go up to $100 per household, so that's gonna have to be added into there. And
Basically, we're going to work them out on this balance and scratch this out, change this, change that, basically the same thing.
it's pretty much the same thing. And I think I still have a copy of or it should be in the minutes where I submitted it, that old business breakdown. I may have a digital copy of it too, so.
All right. Go ahead, Joe.
Like I know enough about it, but I'll, let you go on.
You can let them out.
I ain't gonna let him go along.
All right.
I don't know anything about it either.
Got Joe and George.
Yes.
Brandon, do you still have the schedule that you come up with back in 2019?
That's what I just said telling him. I think I still got a copy of it. If it's not in the minutes back here, then I think I got a digital copy of it somewhere.
Is it two enough or should need one more?
I know Mike Fisher's not here tonight, but we may want to leave that seat open for him, see if he wants to volunteer for it. And I don't mind sitting on as an extra, a little bit more experience, but I can't actually sit on the committee. I mean, I'll get some input into it since we'll be a fourth person. I don't think we can be.
We'll ask Mike, but
Actually, you know, think about it, he probably.
you just tell him this is what you gotta do. All right.
So we're gonna ask Mike, or we're gonna go ahead and put Mike on?
We'll ask Mike.
Has there been any comments or anything on there? Has there seen anybody that wants to
Not
add
that,
anything?
Nobody here.
Yeah, it may not be.
Not asking, can you hear us? Yeah. See what you get. All right, next, I need more signatures on our bank account. We got to redo our whole banking system. So I need somebody to come along and get on the signature card. Talking about moving it from our bank that we have now to our local bank, but until that's done, we still need some signatures on the cards for the existing account. I'm the only one on the account right now. You don't want me by myself on the account.
Wayne Willard says, hey, I'm to hire someone until meeting can be open to the public.
Well, sorry, Wayne. This is open right now. You've just seen everything we've been saying.
He said, table the motion to hire someone until the meeting can be open to the public. I'm not sure if he's talking about fire chief.
Yeah, do it.
Well, I thought,
Wait,
yeah.
moving right along. Need signatures on our bank account.
I'll be glad to. Cliff said he'd be glad to. We just like, we gotta get him up there. Like I said, I tried to contact Julian today by email and he did not respond. I called him once before, he has not responded. So
I have, had to talk to him before, he does not work at that branch.
I emailed him. So, and also called him. They said they would give him the message. He never called me back.
We'll need a new letter written up and with everybody that's going to be on the signature card to be taken back to the bank account.
Okay.
And that's another thing while we're on bank topics. Landmark, I called them and it's gotta be in our minutes that we're removing Doug Gentry and Charles Smith and replacing them with whomever we decide tonight to be on that account. So I'm assuming Mr. Steve and at least Cliff need to be on that account. If
And one other.
one other.
Yeah.
I guess, being vice president, I guess that would probably be me in case you're not in your absence.
Right.
We already run out of tape.
No, sir.
Okay. Well, I was about to say, other than a lot of talking.
All right, so we need that motion made
That's for Landmark.
for Landmark.
I make a motion to write a letter to Landmark, or excuse me, get our minutes from the night to Landmark stating that Charles Smith and Doug Gentry be removed from the account and add Steve Johnson, myself, and Cliff Culver. That should clear us up for our accounts.
Did you by chance get an account number, because the only thing that comes on those statements that they send us is the last four.
She didn't say anything about needing an account number, she just figured the minutes.
Yeah, we'll find that.
I second.
Okay, got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The other night when we had, the dumpster fire, we noticed, they were having to try to use detergent and everything else to help because the fire was so hot. I was talking to Tracy and we need, some foam stuff. Yeah, fire aid, we need that. And, I said we also probably could use some, stock on some oil dry, or she said cat litter works the same way. So we need to, them two items are running low. Somebody to order some, or get approved to order some.
I know McKinney's usually gives us a pretty good deal on oil dry. Yeah, so
Okay.
Cats, they were selling it at Cats was selling foam at about $95 a 5-gallon jug. We might need to check their price again. It might have gone up a little bit. They were the cheapest around for a long time because they bought in bulk.
Yeah. And, we need to make sure that, you know, if we order something like that, that it gets found a way to charge it to all these wrecks on the interstates. Chief Dole has been talking to a gentleman. You want to elaborate on the guy with the maintenance of the trucks issues? His name,
What's his name?
was,
And talked to him yesterday about servicing trucks for getting on regular service pattern. He gave me a couple of different prices. For full service, which is changing everything on those three, which are main engines, was $341.21. It wouldn't be that high every time, because not all filters are going to be changed every time. There's a lot of filters on there that are gonna have to get changed this time because trucks got over 60,000 miles and some of them have been changed. So it's gonna be a little higher at first, but every time it's not gonna be the same price. 1301 was around 280. 1311, 1312 was around 320. That was the only one he was able to look at yesterday without going to the other side.
This is just basically oil change and filter change.
Oil change, filter change, brakes, grease fittings, full service.
and give background on the gentleman where he's doing some other work for what fire stations.
He does service for just about everybody in Good County. He started going through not too long ago. He used to work for Woodstock PD. He's now a state trooper. He started doing this on the side. He is certified fishing mechanic. He's fully bonded with insurance.
Chief, what are we doing right now on the park maintenance program? We don't have one going for that.
Well, we had one.
Hit or miss.
Well, no, we had one, Stanley was doing our maintenance for us. What he couldn't do, we found out of house. We were informed by our tax person that he had to fill out a W-9, which in turn would mean he would get a 1099 at the end of the year. And he's on his lifetime disability, he's on social security or retirement or whatever, so yeah. He already gets 1099, he didn't have payroll. So, we kind of lost him, and it's just been kind of, Tyler, this guy that he knew, and I got one of the guys just giving me some prices, kind of give you an idea, on what he could do. Gary had like stated that he could do some of the stuff, but our problem with that is he may not be readily available, and we don't want the truck to be out of service any longer than it actually has to be.
That's another thing with Shane, he said, that's right, when it comes to us, trucks might be nowhere, he said it wouldn't be out of service no longer than 45 minutes out.
It starts on the oil.
Yes, he exposed everything, takes it with him.
How long has Brady Farm had it?
When I talked to Chief Hall over there, they said he just recently started doing it for them, so I mean, I guess a month.
He's been doing it for almost 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months.
Pleased with him so far.
Yes. That's how they recommended it to me, Chief Hall, from the very long.
And I'd already heard about him, but I didn't bring him to the board.
Roughly about $280 per truck, then is just an average thing.
It would be roughly, maybe two.
We're doing it like once or twice a year.
I would say most of them would be twice, and most from them, maybe a third, depending on how big they go.
A little over $500 per truck, so that's, we got 8 trucks running, 9, 8,
Okay.
7. $3,500 a year.
But that's not including if he finds the brakes back there.
Yeah, well, I mean, brakes are in the service, but I mean, of course, if we
Yeah,
found out
checking
that
the brakes on him.
Not replacing brakes, just checking.
yeah, it's checking, yeah, but that's what I'm saying, if we found out that they can get a price to go up, we're gonna pay for brakes.
Correct.
That's gonna vary depending on where you go, that's the service.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to find anybody else to do all that, because I know a guy that does oil changes, but he's not a diesel mechanic.
Not only that, but he comes to us.
This guy will come to you
It's
too.
supposed to oil, and we don't have to keep trucks out there for no longer than 45 minutes.
Even if you take it to a truck stop, you're gonna spend $250 a day.
Let's get one more bid just to be fair.
I'm working on that. The guy that did our, 13th.
Well, I was talking about yours and, there's a guy out of Tuscaloosa that does mobile oil and see if he wants to give a bid at least. So, he's a county deputy.
Right.
So, that way we at least have 3 bids. You may not be able to compare with the brake services and stuff, but we can kind of get an idea. Or he may say, I don't want to bid on
It's just trying to get an idea of the process where we can put together
it. Yeah.
a maintenance schedule. That way the trucks. We don't fall into this big of a hole again every time.
I mean, Duffy guy doesn't require a contract or anything, right?
No.
Neither one.
Okay. Understood.
And like we said, that's what we do. One truck a month or whatever, if y'all think it's best.
That sounds good. Let's get the other third one in here as quick as we can where we can move on it. Our volunteers, pay or their, whatever you call it, was supposed to be a fuel, charge, yeah, they were being hit with a 1099 and that should not be done. And cause that has already been taxing the fuel. Their pay should not be 1099.
I agree.
And it has,
And we checked with Owen about that, because it's so, anything over $600 is,
if it is for fuel reimbursement, put that way, it is not for labor. It's not $600 labor, it's for fuel.
It's a reimbursement.
Reimbursing them for the fuel they use to come to the call. So therefore, they already pay taxes on the fuel, so they get a double tax. At the end of the year, they get the 1099.
They're not making profit. It's just their expense to come and run the call. And Owen might not understand it the way it's written, and maybe he's thinking they're earning money. They're not earning money, they're just being reimbursed for their expense to volunteer. So if we need to get up with Owen, so be it, but the volunteers don't need to be penalized on their reimbursement.
I think we need to get up to Owen because that's supposed to be a tax-free stipend to the individual.
Should be, but it wasn't this past year.
It hasn't been ever for me.
Yeah.
yeah, just to cover our rear ends, I think we need to get an opinion at least. I mean, we could ask.
I know the Green Pond does it,
Yeah.
and they don't give 1099s. So I've been trying to get in touch with the lady that does Green Ponds to find out how they do it, but I haven't been able to get in touch with her. And Tyler told me that she's there sporadically and just.
Yeah,
Try to get in touch with us.
yeah, just stay on that and
I'll
let us know what you find out.
try to get a hold of Ms. Hall as well.
One other thing that had been tabled and it hasn't been moved on, and we've got a truck still sitting out here that needs to be moved. Supposed to have some sealed bids put out on it. We need to figure out, how to move on getting the sealed bids on this truck out here advertised out or whatever we gotta do to get that truck moved on out.
Will interject my opinion on that truck. Take that front bumper off and take that winch off before we sell it, because that's about $6,000 worth of equipment right there. We don't need to be giving away if we can help it. We can probably sell it for that amount. And because that truck's, I mean, it can be repaired, but it's gonna take some work.
Well, if you don't want to go ahead and get it off.
Or either we leave it on there and we start our bid at a certain amount higher.
You think the winch bumper help the sale?
Probably so. Yeah.
But we need to kind of include that we can bump in the price, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That way we're not getting away.
Yeah, we had put, I forget, $35,000 or $4,000 minimum reserve bid on it, but if you take the wrench and stuff off, that's fine, sell it separately.
If you take a winch off, what's the big event like? Where would it really end up?
Probably that forestry truck or
They could use it, they could use it somewhere. Take it off.
at least take the winch off, man. I mean, the old bumper, we don't know where it went to when he built that bumper. But, so if we took the bumper off, then it would, it would look kind of tacky. Because
I mean, at the minimum, we could use the winch on that truck.
You can use it, then that's what they take them off and then apply the price, like, to do about it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It goes with it.
So make a motion to take the winch off that truck, set the sealed bid price starting at $4,500.
What's what was the number of that, do you remember?
The truck,
For
30, yeah. The goal for F-450. How long do we want to leave that bid open?
Where it's advertised, I guess 60 days would be good.
60 days, yeah. Okay. So that will be in my motion, 60 days open. We'll do social media on our sites, next door. Yeah, they're pretty
Everything
good.
in personal.
I can call them more and find out.
Yeah.
social media competition.
And we can post it out here at the local stores on the flyer. So we need a second on that one.
I did everything.
All right. Got a first and second, call for vote. All in favor? Yay. All right, something else needs to be, 60 days. Something else needs to be put in our minutes, back in January, our assessment letters were, raised to $40, but, undoubtedly never did get put in a minute form. So to where it can be raised on our website, we need a motion to raise our assessment letters to $40 from 25.
Make a motion to raise assessment letters to $40.
Got a first? Got a second? Call for the vote. All right. Something that the office needs is, our paper is running low and we need some ink pens, so we need approval to buy some copy paper and I don't know how much room she needs, about one case of paper, and a box of pens, probably less than $40 for all of it. Second that. All right,
We kind of have to keep the guys in the pins too, so my pins are.
okay.
I've got one
Go
thing.
ahead.
I know if we're going new business or old business, but a little bit of both. From last meeting, it was mentioned at the annual meeting about audits. I contacted Birmingham Port Fire Department. They are going through an audit right now. They've lost their secretary, back a year and a half ago. But, they were transitioning from paper to computer and they found a lot of discrepancies. So this guy that's doing it is out of Vestavia Hills. His name is Lewis Jones. I haven't contacted him yet, but I wanted to get permission from the board to contact him and talk to him. Burn report says right now they're estimating about $5,000 for an audit. They've never had an audit before, never had anybody checking their numbers or anything. So I thought that was pretty reasonable for having to come in and start from scratch, which is probably what's gonna occur here, since we got our records back from the police department. And speaking of that, the Ethics Commission, I talked to the legal counsel, and they said that there was nothing they could do at this time. But they wanted to turn everything back to us, so I talked to Steve and Mike and a few others of y'all, and we got them back that, 2 weeks ago, I think it was roughly.
Roughly 2 to 3 years ago.
So they're back in here now and just trying to get things organized again and rolling. But if y'all are good with it, I'll reach out to him and see what he can quote us and kind of give us an idea for next board meeting.
That's quote, that's someone to do our audit.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Lewis Jones, Louis.
It's really nice.
Oh, no.
You need a second on that?
Just letting you know. Yeah. I know the community mentioned, go ahead and get it all done, so that's kind of where we're at with that.
And, what we saying was the Abernathy reimbursement money from Abernathy.
I'm still trying to find a way to get back in the firehouse, because we swapped reporting software in like September. So the first 8 months of last year is in firehouse. So I'm still trying to find out how to get that back. Yeah, it's going completely.
Why didn't they wipe it out?
It crashed back right before the raid.
For a while before the end of it.
What about our computer back here? It had the same thing on it.
That's it.
That's it. It should be on that computer.
That's a whole different computer. It's a whole different mother.
We had to buy another tower because the other tower to,
Well, right before firehouse
Yeah.
and emergency reporting services,
A lot of.
people that had lawyers for firehouse, what they were doing anyway, like he wasn't letting us access nothing. I don't know what that was, but Dave was here at that time, and that's when we worked out all emergency reporting stuff, and now we've got it.
Only other thing I can do or recommend is pull all the chief's reports for all your runs and get those numbers that way. And that'd probably be the next best thing for, yeah.
And then, I think we're still, you could set receipts for the hazmat part for the $2,000.
Yeah, I don't know if the public heard about that, but the county commission gave us, all the fire departments in the county that produced receipts, an extra $2,000 for, on top of our regular county money to help with this COVID crisis. So we got our Lakeview portion on top of our $6,000, and maybe hopefully we'll get our half of Abernathy plus that other two, or I guess it'd be 1,000, so it'd be about $4,000, the Abernathy side, if we can get all our numbers together.
Tracy, will you please inform what financial state of we are in?
One thing, there's a comment here I just noticed, Don Wallace was mentioned as another guy that could do an audit too, from a board member from Green Pond mentioned it here on our notes. So we'll check into that guy too. Well, that guy, Don Wallace, is a pretty reputable guy in Tuscaloosa, does a lot of other departments. I know he does Carroll's Creek too. I forgot about him. Go ahead.
On March 3rd, our bank balance was $82,236.28. Payroll for the month of March was $6,688.21. Payroll taxes was $2,099.26. Utilities was $840.06. Truck maintenance was $6,727.94. Attorney fees, $2,607.50. Fuel for the truck was $1,785.48. Medical supplies was $518.50. Ending balance for the checking account on March 31st, 2020 was $73,796.01.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other old or new business need to be brought forth?
Yeah, one more thing. I know most of you know about the tornado siren issue. Been down for several years and it's been an ongoing thing. Nick Lawley called me last Saturday and wanted permission to send the service guy out there to look at it. He came back and said that the radio on it would burn up and it's about a $300 radio. I guess we need, I'm waiting on his estimate right now, but would y'all be willing to go ahead if I made the motion as soon as I get that estimate for roughly $300 to $350? Go ahead and approve that now in case it goes ahead and puts it in and we need to get him that money in between now and the next board meeting within the next 2 weeks. Or y'all want to wait till mid-May?
Because probably don't know what his labor's gonna be, put the radio.
There's no labor. He said that all that's being charged to the county. It's just, that's in the contract, you see.
Okay.
But we can wait. I just thought I'd mention it, that it's there. And I'm working to try to hopefully get that tower out of our hands altogether. We're waiting to hear back on that side, but just FYI.
Thanks. That's pretty good. So, while we're on that, me and, County Commissioner Derek Hill, I was talking to him today, he's supposed to get back with me tomorrow with some more information. And about, also trying to apply to the county to get some storm shelters in our area.
Be good. I know they've tried.
He's supposed to get some more information tomorrow.
Who's gonna have control over this point?
I don't know, that's,
Brooklyn has control over their community, Brooklyn has control over theirs, so.
I'm assuming it would depend on where it is placed,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure. Like I said, he's gonna get back with me tomorrow on that, it was just something I rolled up to him today. And he said he'd get with me tomorrow with more information.
Well, we're
Because we need them out there.
I'll be getting a lot of phone calls, especially with all the storms coming in, the guys answering the phones, people want to know where they can go. You know, in our community, we have storm shelters. To my knowledge, we don't. So the closest one is going to be.
And we just like I told her earlier, going to Brooklyn shelters, they typically go to Brooklyn storm.
True. Going back to that tornado siren, I don't mean to cut you off. I just thought of the software itself cost the county about $25,000, if I'm not mistaken, is what he said. And they're putting that bill for the whole county. And there's all the other tornado sirens are operated by cities. So we're the only fire department in the county because we were pretty much the first ones to have one put in the county right here on the lake. So I just wanted the community to know if that head on that tornado siren ever went down, it would cost us about $10,000 to $15,000 to have it repaired. So that's why we're trying to get it situated. And we don't have the capability of requesting grants like other cities and entities do because it's League of Municipalities has all kinds of chains, processes they go through to help get them that kind of funding. So,
Has the town done anything about taking?
no, I hadn't talked to town. We're going to have to maybe mention that to them, see if they want to do something.
All right, y'all good? I would ask for public input, but I guess they could have commented on that. Any more comments?
Other than that, going back to the interviews, I know usually there's contracts and details of what y'all expect. What is there gonna be any kind of hour requirements or pay or what's interim details?
I know in the class before today that,
We'll have to go into executive session for that.
Before we do that, as far as the weather center goes, we decided to, put that to the side until next month or whatever.
Payment on it, so. Yeah, I didn't ever finish that. It didn't get seconded, so that's, we'll just wait till.
We'll wait till we
Get
make
the estimate.
the title this one.
next. And better. Yeah. That would be the problem. Normal day. Yeah, just for everybody's information, May 12th, Tuesday, 7 o'clock, be the next meeting. Since we're doing this on Facebook Live, and we need to go to the executive session instead of coming back after the executive session, should I just
I think we probably need to come back into order afterwards. You know, be legit.
we'll have to cut it off when we cut back on?
Does that laptop shut down or close the program, do you close the lid or can you just close the lid?
I haven't had that,
I've never dealt with line on.
I'm online right now, so you can close it and see. Shut it down. I ain't paying there too.
At all.